Finally, it's all over, and you lot doubted we would stay up. Welcome to Happy Old Reds. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Happy Old Reds as it finished Burnley 1, Forest 2. And it's beach mode, but I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I've just woken up, man.
Yeah, and me.
Note to self: never have. Did you have a nap, Ant?
Oh yeah, I had to. I was up
a
at
pre-go nap.
So it's gonna,
I didn't even know there was 8:30 in the morning.
Anyway, so we're with it. We will liven up, right? But Crypto, you haven't had a nap, have you?
No, I'm feeling fresh.
All right, good.
Looking fresh. Looking fresh.
Yeah, my shirt's got a bit tighter, week by week. The diet's not going to plan, but
honestly, guys, the shirts don't shrink, do they? Crypto. That's not what you're saying, is it?
Maybe someone's grown. I hope you're all well. We're all good, Hun Matt. Good to see you lot in the chat. And yeah, there's plenty to talk about tonight. I don't even know if we need to bother talking about the game, but there's a lot going on. So hit that like, subscribe. Make sure you get your tickets for the signed frame Forest home kit. And remember, ticket number 40 is Murillo. Now, someone was trolling, said they got it last week.
Did they not?
No. Football Prizes have not confirmed to me that that's happened. So ticket number 40 gets you Murillo. The link's pinned in the chat. And ticket 190, shout out to Niakate, because I think he's been all right, as much as this has an agenda against him towards the end of the season. I think he's been all right. You still got an agenda?
No, I never had one in the first place, bro.
Shut up, man. You hate Muslims, man.
He does.
He does. He's a self-hating Muslim. Anyway,
it's going to be one of those streams, is it?
It's going to be one of those. I'm starting to slowly wake up, man. I'll take the sunglasses off. Sunglasses aren't because it's warm, man. My eyes are like this. That's the same, man. That's the same. Anyway, right. We've got a lot to talk about. Let's get into this. Where do we want to start
off? Because you said like there's not much to talk about during the game, about the game. I can say that's definitely the case for me. I jokingly said I'm not going to watch it. I'm just going to chill out. That's what actually ended up happening. So I got home. I'd been out all day. Got home just as the game had kicked off. My stream wasn't working. I was like, we were already 1-0 up. And I was like, you know what? What have I got to worry about? I went straight back out. I did not watch a game. So I can't comment on what happened during the match. Man. Yeah, I know. I can't.
So what's the point in you being here?
I don't know. It's just to make up the numbers, isn't it? But
the brown quota, is this what you're saying again?
Yeah, well, the quota, yeah, I am the token. We couldn't get OT tonight, so it's me, innit? But in terms of the relaxed feel of it, I didn't have any fears, obviously, going into it. I've got receipts because I know you don't believe what I've said, but I did say there's certain games we would win, we'd be fine, not to worry, chill out. And as it turns out, we were 6 points clear in the end, technically 10 points. Don't know what we have to worry about, but it was a piss poor season. And my overriding thought is, thank fuck it's over.
What's with the receipts, man? I went on freaking WhatsApp this afternoon and Lemmy had been whipping them out of all people, man. It's like, what's going on?
I'm giving myself some flowers, bro. That's all it is.
All right, go on then. Think yourself out, because we'll just shoot you down. What receipt are you claiming?
Well, I said Luton and Burnley wouldn't pick up another win. Neither of them picked up another win. I said if we were going into this season knowing that we needed 2 away wins at the end of the season to get us out of trouble, you'd pick the bottom 2 teams. That's what we had. We won them both. First time since 1995 we won back-to-back away games. You did ask a question in the daily earlier. I don't know if you got an answer, but did you get an answer?
I think I haven't been on the comments yet.
Can I give you what I think it is, and then you can tell me if I'm right or wrong. I think Palace were one of them, and I think Norwich was the other one.
I can't remember now. I think it was 4 in a row. You know,
no point in bloody telling you. If anybody in the chat knows, put it out.
No, I do know. I'm still asleep. I think we'd won 4 away games in a row. So technically, the 2 in a row would come in the 4 in a row, wouldn't it? Wouldn't it? All right. Wait. Hold on. What's who's asking about the PC reveal? What happened to the PC live build? We didn't trust Rob to do it. We're joking. Inside Tech offered to do it and gave us some good discount on the PC, so we were able to upgrade it even higher. So there was a reveal video. We did that on Friday on the Burnley preview. So if you want to check that out, check it out. Was it Saturday? Yeah, sorry, you're right. Saturday. It's all right. Just got here.
I've not won again, by the way.
Huh?
I've not won again.
You gone for a Murillo ticket?
Every time I keep saying I'm not doing it again. I'm not, and I keep.
How many tickets are there, Ant?
How many left?
I think there's 100 left.
146 now. They've sold 146. I think
there's about 100 left. So then now you got even better chances of getting that Murillo shirt. Where's Rob? Rob's hiding in shame because he wanted us relegated. If you remember what he said in the last episode. So yeah, we can't invite people on like that. Negative people. All right, so let's jump into it. And do we need to talk about the game though? There's so much to talk about outside the game. Should we just give it a quick token? Go on.
Yeah, it was an end of season game. Honestly, it was literally like watching a pre-season game. There was no intensity. There was no jeopardy in it whatsoever, obviously, and especially when we scored after a couple of minutes, and that was basically it. Yeah, that's it. That's my summary of the game. It's nice to see Sangare come on, and I actually think there was some stuff he was doing. He was jumping in some tackles.
Yeah, you know what? That's what I'm most interested about because I did catch some of the player ratings, and you were very, very praiseworthy of our boy Sangare, and I want to know if that was Wolverine bias or if that's actually fair comment. So Crypto and if you watched the game, you can let me know because obviously I didn't see.
No, his chat. He didn't ask me. He wants a non-Muslim view on a Muslim. There's still that agenda going on.
Sangare was good. Yeah. I think Sangare came on and changed the game. The only thing that disappointed me, I mean, Chris Wood had another purple patch as well. So shout out to Chris Wood for being able to score against the clubs he used to play for. The thing that did slightly annoy me, and I wasn't too bothered because we survived relegation and it was the last game of the season, but I did feel like it was a little bit like Cooper Ball when he went up to the point where 2-0 is that awful safety net of all it requires is one goal against and then everybody's crapping themselves for the last 10 minutes. They could have killed off the game and they should have killed off the game, but they did that thing where they went into like ultra low block with about, half an hour left, 2-0 up. And in the Premier League, a better team will turn you over. And that's why I think so many times we've lost 3-2. It's because we tend to think that there's a 2-goal safety net and go into this low block formation. And it's got to change. It didn't work under Cooper. It doesn't work under Nuno. But, I don't want to put any negatives on it, but I think it was disappointing that we didn't try and win. Really, I wanted to win 2-0 because I predicted 2-0 and it would have been my third correct prediction of the season.
I predicted Fulham 4-2. I didn't even know I'd predicted it 4-2. I'm just saying, seeing that Ez is whipping out receipts, right? I've got a full receipt on that one.
Yeah, but Ez is whipping out receipts that he can't back up because I'm yet to see evidence.
We've got live.
I'm going to whip out the fact that I finished 6th in the predicted league.
Yeah, but you cheated, man. You got 115 charges against you, mate. That doesn't count, man. No, but Ben's right. Crypto's right. Sorry. When he's got the odd receipt, he whips out. He goes back through it all, clips it up. Yeah, you just come in with sweeping statements.
What do you mean you don't need to do that? That's exactly what you need to do.
Listen, go back to the pre-Everton game where I said we'd lose 2-0. I said, don't worry about Everton. They're going to be miles clear of us, miles clear of relegation. Worry about the teams coming after that. The only one I got wrong.
Did you say in and out, mate?
The only one I got wrong was the Chelsea one. I did think we'd get a draw out of that, and we should have got a draw out at
Did
least
you really?
minimum of that game. Yeah. So
I have to
everything
say
else,
it.
right, I got receipts. And you're the only other one who was calm. The rest
Yeah.
of them were panicking.
Yeah, I
He
said
was-
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if we beat Chelsea. It doesn't matter if we beat such and such because those other two are not going to win anything.
That's exactly.
Yeah, but you
that.
never said even those two are must win, Ant. Were they must win?
No, there was no must-win
That
game.
sounds like
Someone-
minimum.
Someone,
We didn't need to win any of them.
yeah.
Technically, you were right.
Just
Someone
rely
made
on
the
them
point
losing
that
them
none
all.
of them
Them
were
are
Wait,
fine.
how many points did we finish clear of EasyJet FC? Was it 5?
10 if you take
No,
off.
okay. Officially, how many?
Six on
Was it
paper.
5?
Six.
Six, I think.
Was it
Six on
6?
paper, wasn't it?
Six.
Six
But if
plus
we
goal
had a-
difference.
So if we hadn't beaten Sheffield and we hadn't beaten Burnley,
We still
oh
have stayed
crap.
up.
Okay.
We would have
Okay,
still
um,
stayed up.
Like, his little cheesy grin, man. Like,
Adam's
that
right.
little cheesy grin. I don't know if that's it would have been a whole different sliding doors butterfly effect thing going on. Chat, is he right? Was it not must win then in the end or not?
Technically, technically none of them must win.
we should do it.
If Luton had beaten, was it Fulham that played? Was it
Yeah.
Fulham played? If
Yeah.
Luton had beaten Fulham, then one of those games would have been.
Oh, a minute post match, yeah. Quick shout out to Matt. Oh, my voice went all funny. Thank you for the $4.99, buddy. Do you think people don't get the role of number 6, which explains the agenda against Sangare? Matt, 100%, right?
Yeah,
There's a
love that.
Sangare agenda. There's a as Muslim agenda when it comes to Sangare, right? There's a
There's your Elanga agenda. So let's get it all on.
oh, we'll
paper.
get to the Elanga agenda. Don't worry.
My Nuno agenda.
Your
It's-
Nuno,
it's-
there's plenty of his
Crypto's one of the
Turner
agenda,
agenda.
and-
Yeah.
Yes, agenda.
Oh, Crypto's got
That's anybody homegrown agenda.
Crypto's
I've
like,
got several agendas. You know
Yeah,
what?
Basically, if you don't nosh him off, he's got an agenda against you.
I was
Impression I
was
get.
really disappointed in Morgan Gibbs White earlier, who put out an Instagram post saying that Matt Turner is his brother. So I'm ready for Morgan Gibbs White to go. I've had
we're getting
You
talk
know
about
that
Morgan
now,
Gibbs.
isn't it?
Like, wait, hold on. Wait, it's a little late, but what was it with the £2? Thank you so much for £2, buddy. Great win to the end of the season. To the end of the season on a.
Great win to the end of the season on a Forest Cluffy.
I think it means
Yeah.
great
I got
win
you, Warren.
to end the season on. Great win to end the season on. That's what you mean, Warren. Oh, we're with you. With you. Thank you so much for. I love how Ant tried to step in. Well, let me proper enunciate
Yeah,
that for you.
Let me decipher this.
Thanks for confusing us, Warren. We appreciate it. Okay, let's start with the manager. And chat, what were you thinking about all the news going on today? So let me set the scene. If you haven't seen the videos, Nuno, we said in the morning video, there's a segment of the fan base that is still on his back. Yeah. There's a segment of the fan base that is saying that he should have done better than just avoid relegation. There's a segment of the fan base who probably still want Cooper back, let's be honest. But there's it was Romano that tweeted saying his position is basically still up for debate. There's going to be talks with Forest. Now, having spoken to who we know what we know, we believe that it's nothing from Forest side, which makes me, this is just me talking now, think that it might be from Nuno's side. And then the next story that broke was that De Zerbi is on a shortlist for Forest, but alongside AC Milan, Napoli, and who was the other one? Marseille.
Juventus.
Marseille. It was Marseille. Not Juventus. Was Juventus on? I haven't seen the Juventus on. I'll take your word for it. So that's where we are in this current climate. Now, let's start with you, Ant, because this is your agenda, right? Where have you finished with Nuno? And we'll come on to De Zerbi. Let's start with Nuno, and then we'll come on to De Zerbi.
Yeah, I'm still unsure about him. He's not done great. I mean, he's done okay because we stayed up. We stayed up because of the 2 or 3 rather absolutely appalling teams below us. You know, you've got to be honest here. Those 3 teams are the worst 3 teams that have been in the Premier League for many, many, many years since Derby. Yeah. So we've managed to finish above them. That's not really for me an achievement. I understand he came in at a very difficult time and he's had a lot of very difficult circumstances to cope with. We don't need to go through them all, but we all know what they are. So that's why I'm prepared to give him more time personally. I'm not sack him, right? I'm not sack him. Not once I found out that Dominguez was injured and he's not dropped him. That would have been that for me was the one. What kind of manager would do that? Okay, so
and you could say you put Sangare in that position.
Yes, yeah, but nevertheless, Sangare's not had the season we hoped he'd had. You know, he's had various issues, so injury and not settling in, being played out in the wrong position, being in a team that wasn't functioning for large parts of the season. So, I'm prepared, more than prepared to give Sangare pre-season and the next, let's see how he goes. I think he can still be a good player for us, especially if he can come to terms with the pace of the Premier League, which some players take longer than others to come to terms with it. Some settle straight in, some don't. Some take a year. So let's hope. But regarding Nuno, I'm quite happy for him to stay. I'm not shouting from the rooftops, Nuno out. I'm not convinced yet, but I'm willing to be convinced. As for all these rumours, I cannot understand why people are getting so excited by the fact that he's having an end-of-season discussion. Yes, you're right. Yes, I did mention that. Why people are excited by the fact he's having an end-of-season discussion to see how the season went. I think you'll find every single manager, including Pep Guardiola, has a discussion at the end of the season with the owners to see how the season went. That is so normal. It's unbelievable. I mean, when I used to work, I used to have an annual appraisal. Every year I'd have an appraisal. And they'd tell me how fantastic it was. I'd demand more money. They'd give it me and we all went our separate ways. Maybe that's what's going to happen with you now. But it's nothing to, it's not even something to read anything into. Because
that bit's not abnormal for me. That's you'd expect that in any line of work, as you mentioned. The question for me is
just to finish off. I'll just finish off, mate, and then you can go. I'll only be another minute. I just want to touch on the De Zerbi thing. I think that's all smoke and mirrors without a fire. I don't think there's not that I want De Zerbi, but I don't think there's a chance in hell of De Zerbi coming to Forest. For some reason, this overhyped manager who's had an appalling season in only his second season. First season, he had another man's team and he did quite well.
Yeah,
second season, done absolutely shockingly bad, considering what they were doing before that. So he's overhyped anyway, but he is over. But that hype is there. So there are teams with far more to offer at the moment than us that will go for De Zerbi. So I'm not worried about De Zerbi coming, and I don't think Nuno would be worried about him taking his place because it ain't happening. So that's my 2 pence.
Like I say, I'm not worried about him having any end of season chats with Marinakis. That's absolutely normal, and you'd expect in any line of work. My concern is that it feels like half of Nuno's battle has been to try and win the fans over.
Yeah,
and that shouldn't be part of his thinking, should it? And he said at times it seemed a bit contrived the way he's been mentioning the fans in his pre-match and post-match comments. But that shouldn't be the case. And if that is part of it, maybe his head's not in this job. Maybe his head's not in the project. And if that is the case, I 100% agree with you that any decision has to be made in the next couple of days.
Yeah.
You can't drag it out. You can't wait until you certainly can't wait until after the Euros. Anything has to happen this side of Euros, and it has to happen this side of the transfer window as well. So that's my only concern from Nuno's point of view. I think he deserves another chance, but if his head's not in it, then I don't want him there personally. And I feel like the fans aren't helping. It's not a small group. It is actually a rapidly growing group. And you said there's overlaps in all of them. It could be some don't like the way he's playing. Others could be just staunch loyalists to Cooper and not liking the fact that he was the one who replaced him. Same way, when Moyes took over from Fergie, it's replacing somebody's idol, and that next person in is never really going to get that rub of a green from the fan base or in any other circumstance. So that's my concern with it. But I don't think he's been given a fair whip. And maybe whoever it was that filled this gap was never going to be given that. So if that's going to be a detriment going into next season, because we all need to be behind it. Next season is a pivotal season. You've mentioned about the PSR, the money we'll have available to us. It needs the right man at the helm. And if Nuno's not going to get the backing of a fair percentage of the fans, I think it's something that Marinakis will take on board and may consider. But in terms of who comes in, I don't know. I don't know if I like De Zerbi either. I'm with Ant on that one. He doesn't really excite me too much. But over to Crypto. I don't know what your thoughts are.
Just before you jump in, Crypto.
Sure.
No, so again.
Before you jump in, Crypto.
Yeah.
So don't jump in twice. There's two things here, right?
I absolutely agree with the chaps that it does seem a little forced with all the mentioning of the fans, and as we know, that's because of the previous manager. Yeah. But what would those same fans be saying if he never said the fans are great, the ground's great?
That's a good point. He has to say it. He's damned if he does, he's damned if he doesn't.
Yeah, exactly.
And Andy, thank you for the 9 months. Martin as well. Sherlock Holmes getting some cracking footage for FFTV yesterday. 18 months, bro. Thank you so much. We've got in total just over 500 of you in here and 102 likes. You guys know what to do. Hit that like button. Crypto, I saw on Twitter you'd put out a poll on this. Nuno in, Nuno out. So I'm feeling like you're a bit of a mouthpiece for him at the moment, so I assume you're Nuno in.
Yeah, I think the final result was 87% in, 13% out. I mean, I'll start off by saying, and we don't know this, but if he wants out, then let him go. If he doesn't want to be here, then I would let him go sooner rather than later. But not knowing whether that's the case or not, for me, I'd keep him. I think the biggest positive I see is the on the field play, and I know this is hypothetical, but if you reduce our set piece goals, the ones we've conceded, by around half, which makes it pretty much average, right? If you just take out 10 or so goals from goals conceded from set pieces, we're actually the 5th lowest conceding team in the league, which then bumps us up to a mid-table point tally. So I think his general play is there. He's had a lot of problems put upon him. There was the issues with injuries. Matt Turner was in goal to begin with. Like I say, the set pieces, conceding the most set piece goals in the league. There's also been at least, 5 or 6 mistakes from players where there's been a suicide pass that's ended up in a goal. Yeah, so I think
this is all this buts and maybes. We are where we are.
It is if buts and maybes, but what I'm trying to get at is that if he can sort these things out, which should be pretty simple things, we shouldn't be conceding 22, 23 goals from set pieces.
100%.
That's not normal. If he can sort that out and concede a normal amount, 10, 11, 12 goals, then already we're bumping up 5, 6 places in the league. Out of let's say out of our own area play is actually quite good. We score more goals than Cooper had us doing. We have more possession. There's lots of benefits to the way he plays football. I don't like where he will sit back after two goals up, because I don't think that ever works. But I think his general play, as Keith is saying, his general play is much better. I think he's got the squad together. He's made some of the players who weren't so good last season adapt into good players, Nico Williams, etc. I think he's a good man manager. Just a few more points.
Yeah,
I think he's a good man manager. The one thing I don't really like is that he always seems a bit sad to me. I mean, I saw him driving the other day in his Mini Cooper after we'd had confirmed Premier League for another year. And he looked like he was going to cry. So I feel like his mentality, and we see this in interviews, it obviously passes on to the fans. Because if you go on Twitter, there's plenty of fans out there who say he doesn't connect with the fan base, get him out. If fans are feeling like that, and we have no actual, FaceTime with him, think how the players are feeling. If the players were going into the match and saying, there's still possibility you can get relegated, etc. For me, I don't like that. I'd rather have a positive manager who says, this is how it's done. Don't think in that way and get us across the line. he does seem a little bit negative, but I think his general play and tactics are okay. And I don't want us to keep swapping managers at the end of the day. If he doesn't want to be here, then fair enough, let him leave. But if he
where are people getting this? He doesn't want to be here from.
Because
know.
what I'm saying,
no
what I'm
idea.
saying
I have
from
no
what I'm
idea.
hearing from the club,
No
it's,
idea.
there's no agenda to move him out.
I
So
don't-
if Romano's tweeting it, it's coming
Romano's
from somewhere.
tweet, isn't it? That's
Romano's
what's
solid, man. Yeah.
That's
But
what's called
my
the cat and
final-
the pigeons. 'Cause- Go on.
My final point quickly was, I don't want it to be another pre-season where the squad has to gel. I mean,
Yes.
we don't. The thing I'm not liking at the moment is, fair enough, we're going to lose some of our best players, but there's already talk of we're losing Murillo, Morgan Gibbs-White, Callum Hudson-Odoi. So what? We're going to lose our manager, and then we're going to lose all of our best players. And I know it's just talk, but I don't want to be in the same position as we have been the last 2 years.
Yeah,
People
but I
shouldn't get
think
the
it's a
news
lot.
in a twist over journalists talking bollocks like they do. The mainstream
Yeah.
journalists talk bollocks all the time. They
Yeah,
just
but
make
not
stories
Romano,
up.
man. Not Romano.
Romano's not God. What exactly did he say? I saw the tweet.
did
but
I
don't
say
remember
that?
exactly.
Did I say that? Romano's usually, like, I'd say 98 out of 100. He's
I
on
would,
to
I
something.
would agree. But what exactly did he say? Just remind me. I did read it, but
If you watched
the
my
exact words.
video earlier, you would have known, mate. But
If
all
you
right,
watched
fine.
it.
No,
If
ain't
you
nobody
watch
got
it-
time for that.
Yeah, exactly. If you weren't napping and focused a little, on your job, mate, I'm just stalling to buy some time here.
Matt, just to
Here
respond
it
to that,
is.
Matt. I'm not saying the players don't like him. I think the players do like him, and I think the team gels well at the moment. I'm saying I don't want that to be disrupted, but I don't think I'm not sure from an outside perspective if his mentality, which seems a bit negative to me in this
Has he got the
interview,
fight
passes
for
on
him?
to the players. I'm not saying they don't
Yeah,
like
let me-
him. I'm sure they do like him.
Let me
Yeah,
just
I
read
don't
it
think
out
there's
now
any
that you
problem.
guys stalled. Hold on, let me just read it out.
Go
So
on.
anyone who missed the video alongside Ant, understand Nuno Espírito Santo's future at Nottingham Forest is still open after keeping Forest in the Premier League. Portuguese manager will discuss with the club soon in order to decide the next steps, but there's a chance he could leave Forest. Is that last
there is a
line?
chance he could leave Forest. He might be fired for a start.
Yeah, I know, but he's not going to put that
It doesn't
line.
mean- what
for
he
the-
said, what he's done there, and what these fucking journalists do, these ITKs do, is to put out a statement that can be interpreted in lots of different ways, like that one.
Yes, agreed, but
So
not
he needs
usually
filtering.
Romano. But not usually
No,
Romano.
That's the only thing I'm going to agree with Wolfie on this one. Romano usually doesn't do that.
Yeah,
He
I know,
doesn't
Yeah.
go out
I know.
talking
He's
without
the
really
most
being-
respected journalist in world football, I would
Yeah.
say. I
Because he's not
absolutely
going to
agree
say
with all
that about
that.
every. Otherwise, you're talking about every single.
But I'm
manager
not saying
pretty
he's
much.
wrong, Ed. And what I'm saying is that statement could be interpreted in lots of different ways. Saying that Nuno may
100%.
not be there next season doesn't mean that Nuno's thinking of leaving. It could mean he's worried about getting sacked.
Mm.
Yeah,
I
but
think if
what?
there's any
That's what I'm
doubt,
saying. Look, I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
big enough to say I don't know. I'm just putting that forward that let's not all jump on the bandwagon of assuming
No,
things
certainly not.
because you know what assumption does, don't you? So
Yeah,
No,
but we
what
didn't
I'm
have a
saying,
show
I
if
just
we didn't do that.
no,
listen,
exactly. right.
I've just thought of something. I can prove to you I watched it because very unusually, when you read Romano's tweet out, you said Nuno Santos. You missed the Espirito out. You go back and watch it, and I bet
Yeah,
you,
that is
you
true.
didn't-
That
Such
is
a
true.
pedant, isn't he? You can't,
So
I can't
do I-
remember.
do I
what
get-
it
I'm
was.
surprised I didn't get a note saying you didn't pronounce it Espirito or something like that.
Or a
Yeah.
text.
No, but the point that I was making on the video was that we know, right, from what we know, is that he's, as Ben was saying, he's fully respected by the players. He's got a good working relationship in general with a lot of the hierarchy in the club. And there's no real push to get him out the door. If anything, the push is coming probably from a section of the fan base. And I have no problem with that, by the way. Yeah, I wanted Cooper out. It was my opinion to decide that. And if they want Nuno out, cool. If Ant's on the fence about Nuno, cool. If Ez finds out Nuno's Muslim, then I'd assume he'd want him out as well. So there's all kinds of agendas and reasons why you could want someone out, right? But I think just to bring the balance to this is to look at it and say, okay, why do they want him out? Because there are good mitigating reasons, in my opinion. You could say the football's not been good enough. Substitutions have been atrocious. You could say the PSR and AFCON is all excuses. I think valid excuses, but you could say they're excuses. You could look at Glasner, who's come in for Crystal Palace, and let's face it, they're a two-man team and a reborn goddamn striker. But outside of that, we've got a better squad than Palace. And they went, do you remember a few weeks ago when we did the preview with D, Palace were like 3-4 points ahead of Forest, and now they finished top 10. So there is a way a new manager can come and have an impact on. So I have anyone in the chat or anyone in the Forest fan base who wants Nuno out, I got no issues with it. You're all entitled to your opinion. I just don't think he's had a preseason. I think he's had too much turbulence. And I look back at what he's done at Wolves. I look at his track record. That's where I stand.
Yeah. I think there's a couple of.
He's got to be given a chance as well, because if we're going to invest in players for him, he's got to be given a chance with those players. That's the thing. I see a lot of people saying, "Oh, give him pre-season, give him a window." You have to be a bit careful, because if you give a window to the wrong person, then you lost all your money.
Yeah.
So you have to be a bit careful with that.
Yeah.
But
well, look, go on there. Sorry.
No, I was going to probably agree with Ant on that one. But if you're going to give him any kind of war chest this summer, it's got to go to the right manager. And I'm not concerned that he's not the right manager. I'm concerned that there is an element of a fan base that doesn't want him there. Marinakis will know about this. The louder those voices get, and also, is Nuno's heart in it? Is he part? Does he want to be part of this project? Because what has he got to prove, really? You know, unless he feels like he has something to prove, set himself right, but he must have had a massive payoff in Saudi. Financially, he's probably secure for the rest of his life and his family's as well. So, for me, has he got the passion for it? Has he got the fight for this project? Does he want to be part of it? And if he doesn't, then we need to know now.
I think he's got a lot to prove. I mean, he came up with Wolves, and it was only with Wolves for one season in the Premier League or something.
3.
But it was his choice. No, it was
several
seasons.
Yeah, 7th, 13th. Yeah.
Right. Okay. But I still think. I mean, we're a massive club. I still think he'd like to succeed. If he's, you're right, if he's got that competitive instinct within him, like most people in management have to have, then it'll be fine. I think we're overplaying this. He's not bothered. It's because of his demeanor. And regarding the fans as well, the last game of the season was the first time I actually heard Nuno chants in the crowd. Yeah. First time. Now we need to continue that, whether you're absolutely excited by him or not. We need to show that we're back him, because no manager can succeed if the fans don't back him. That is for sure.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm sure he cares. I don't think anybody's questioning whether he cares or not. I think it's just that like you say, there's a group of fans in the fan base.
Yeah, but caring and having that drive at Crypto, that's what I'm on about, the drive. Has he got the drive to do something with this team and want
I think he has got the drive. I think he's got the drive, and I think he's a professional, but maybe he doesn't show that in his press conferences, etc. Cooper used to come out and say,
maybe we've all been blinded by Cooper, mate.
Yeah, Cooper used to come out and say, I love the fans. I live in the heart of the city. People literally laid flowers for the guy. So,
we did. No joke.
Just on what you guys are saying in the chat, about 200 of you have voted. 73% of Nuno in, 6% of Nuno out, and 21 are on the fence. I wonder if that would have been different if we hadn't beaten Burnley. It would have been quite interesting to have a little butterfly effect on that one. Don't forget to hit the like button. Make sure you get your Murillo tickets, even though that's not the main prize. That's an insta win. But Murillo could be on his way out. Let's move and talk about some of these players. I hate Spurs. It may come as a shock to some people, but I said in today's video, are they trying to turn into Tottenham Forest, man? Because what do they just have one number in their black book? Like Morgan Gibbs-White now, and now Callum Hudson-Odoi. I've been worrying about Callum Hudson-Odoi potentially being linked because of the hot streak he's had towards the end of the season. But can we afford to lose both Morgan Gibbs-White, Callum Hudson-Odoi, and potentially Murillo? If we were to lose all three of these players, would we be in hot water come the start of next season? Whose turn is it to kick it off? Is it yours, Crypto?
Yeah, I mean, we can't just give away all of our best players. We've only just stayed up. So if you take away those three out of it, we would actually be relegated now because they are basically our three best players. I understand the PSR thing. You've got to get rid of maybe at least one of them, but to sell all of them, I think is a mistake. Unless, and again, we don't know this, unless there's plans to bring in replacements who they think can be just as good, etc. But it's a big risk. I definitely wouldn't sell Callum Hudson-Odoi because I think he's just started to get into form, and I think he'll be brilliant for us next season. And I think he's doing really well at Forest, and he'll continue to do that. I mean, you could say that about Murillo and Morgan Gibbs-White as well, but I feel like, especially with Morgan Gibbs-White, I feel like he has that skill and that belief in himself that he could do well elsewhere. I think Murillo and Callum Hudson-Odoi have almost grown with us as a team, whereas Morgan Gibbs-White was just good throughout the whole season. He was good before he came here. He'll be good when he goes to his next club. One thing that is quite interesting, though, is I follow a lot of the players on social media.
And you stalk them. Yeah. Great whites.
pretty much all of the time that they're not in Nottingham, they're in London. And there must be this massive pull for, if you've got lots of money, go and live in London, because the amount of times that they're posting, stories and posts about them being in London in their spare time is every week.
Well, we have got a HQ in London as well, haven't we? Marinakis Tower.
Yeah, I think there's a massive pull for rich young players. They want to be in London. So and they want to. Keith's just made me laugh. They probably want to be in the Sky top 6 teams, but Cho, Murillo, I want to keep them. Morgan Gibbs-White, I want to keep as well, but I think Morgan Gibbs-White has that what's the word I'm looking for?
Hype.
The hype, but the experience. I think Morgan Gibbs-White has the experience. He's played for England. He's a bit older. He can go on and just join another team. I think he'd fit straight in. Whereas I think Murillo and Cho, yes, they're brilliant players, but they've definitely grown with us this season, and it'd be really disappointing to see them go.
So, Anne, if you had to get rid of one out of those three, and there's a poll in there, get your answers in. This one's an interesting poll. Who would you get rid? Murillo, to save PSR, for example. Murillo, MGW, or Chow?
I've said this before. I think Murillo is the best of the three, but I also think is weirdly enough, he's the easiest one to replace. There are lots of really good central defenders out there. Attacking left side midfielders, central attacking midfielders are a lot more difficult to find of that quality. Central defenders, that's why they don't cost as much, generally speaking. They don't cost as much because they're easier to replace. I was going to say, listen, we can get rid of all three. It's all down to recruitment. I mean, the Brighton model, as we all know, is sell the best players and recruit well. That's going to come to an end. I don't want this to be our model, by the way, because like Southampton, it will come to an end. There will be times when there's nobody to recruit anymore, or you get it wrong and then you're screwed. And it takes one season and you're gone. So I don't want that to be our model, but it partly is because for every club that's not one of the high-earning clubs, it's part of the model. You sell your players. Even the top clubs have to sell the players sometimes.
It's a reality, isn't it?
It's the reality, yeah. I just think that Murillo would be the easiest to replace, although, in my opinion, he's the best.
So and you got a Murillo agenda.
Also, yeah, okay. Also, I think it's vital, and I hope Mr. Marinakis does this, is we get the amount that we should get for these players and don't let them go cheap. Because I've seen some ridiculous sales before. I don't want to see it anymore. I want to get them.
You know what? I just want to latch onto that because I think that's one of the things we are guaranteed with Mr. Marinakis. He's not going to undersell his players. I think he had Levy over a barrel on Brennan Johnson's sale because he wouldn't work at the time, and he wouldn't sell for any less. Yes, it cost us 4 points on PSR as a result of it this season, but he wasn't going to back down, and I don't think any of our players are going to go for cheap. But at the time, we had this discussion earlier. I agreed with Ant. I think Murillo. I thought we had the most cover in the central defensive positions, because at the time I mentioned Niakate wasn't even getting a sniff, and Murillo had quite taken that left-handed side position. Niakate started coming good towards the end of the season. I don't know where you think this agenda came from, but either way, we have got other players in that position. But I'm going to revise it, because I actually think one of the MG Dub, I don't see which other club he's going to go to where he's going to be the star man moving on from Forest. And if that's what we know, about his ego, we know how he likes. Let me just finish. We know how he likes to be the number one player, and very rarely is he left off a team sheet. We saw Cooper drop him for half a game all season, and I don't think Nuno dropped him at all, apart from for injuries. And he does stay fit. He doesn't have injury problems. He is from that point of view, he is a solid player to have in your squad. But he does make us slightly one-dimensional, because we have to feel like we have to always play with a 10. Now, there's not many teams that play with a number 10.
Correct.
And one of the things with not having not having MG Dub there, I think it opens up our options, and it gives us a different styles of play. Because at the moment, it's like if MG Dub is not in the 10, it's like we're trying to slot him in as an 8, and we're looking at options like that. But or stick him out on the wide on the wing, and he's not that kind of player. So he's a very specialist player, and you can't afford too many of those in your squad. I think he's the one that we can afford to get rid of and get some decent money for him and look in that position. Go on.
And we'd score more set pieces if MGW wasn't in the squad.
Definitely. Get him off them. Yeah, get him off them for sure, because it has improved. There's no doubt about it. Towards the end of the season.
Danilo's corners are...
Danilo's been fantastic. Callum Hudson-Odoi's corners from the opposite end,
Yeah.
For one thing that MG Dub has improved on in his last half a dozen games is from free kicks, because we've had a couple of goals from free kicks, and we look threatening on most occasions. One against Chelsea last week. I actually thought he'd overhit it, but that was perfect cross deep into the back post. Body got on the end of it and pretty much had a free header. So he's done some good things. It's got better for him. But I think, one thing we do have to look at is, would we have more options if we didn't have an MG Dub in our squad? And I think we potentially would.
I feel like I'm not in a disrespectful way, but I feel like if Cho went to Spurs, he could become a bit of a Jed Spence. Because who's he going to go ahead of? He's not going to go ahead of Son or
Johnson,
FC or Johnson. I don't think he'd go ahead of Johnson. I mean, do they really need him? I think he'd be a backup bench warmer type player for them, as opposed to a starter. So I don't know. I can't see Callum Hudson-Odoi going to Spurs. But
also, Crypto also is a massive Chelsea fan, and the worst team he could go to is literally Spurs.
There is that,
but understanding the politics in London is a mess, and
Joe Worrell wants to go to Sheffield.
Yeah, I'm talking who hates who in London. Chelsea hates Spurs, but Fulham hate Chelsea, but Spurs hate Arsenal. But West Ham hate Chelsea, and they hate Spurs, and they kind of hate Arsenal. It's like, okay, man, seriously.
You know what?
There are certain rivalries, aren't there? Like Brighton and Palace.
Yeah,
that's the dumbest
you've
one.
mentioned a team, because there's one team in London that I think he'd suit perfectly, to be honest, and that's
West
Palace.
Ham.
No, Palace. They've got the right-hand side covered with Elise.
They're gone, mate. They're gone.
Yeah, they had Hudson-Odoi on the other side. I'm not touting him for them, but
I don't think he'd go to Palace.
No, I don't think he would, but I think he'd work really well in that system.
Yeah. I get that. Yeah.
But looking at the chat, you guys are saying 40. I'm surprised at this one. 42% would sell Morgan Gibbs-White. 32% would sell Callum Hudson-Odoi, and 27% would sell Murillo. That's interesting.
I agree with that, because look, I'd love to keep Morgan Gibbs-White. It's been the amount of assists and his playmaking is brilliant in that midfield. His
work rate as well. Yeah.
His work rate every match as well. He's a fantastic player, absolutely fantastic player. But I feel like Murillo has saved us from losing actual points. the amount of tackles that he puts in, the amount of blocks he puts in, the amount of times we've seen him head it off the line. If you took Murillo out of this equation and replaced him with another defender this season, I think we would be getting relegated. And I think at the moment to be that good while he's so young, his first professional season effectively. I know he had a few games before, but it's effectively his first full professional season. To be that good at a young age and to put that much of his, his heart and desire and his everything into keeping us up, and that belief and that skill level he has, I think it would be a huge shame to lose him, because I genuinely think, and I know it's a team game. But Murillo, for me this season, if you take him out, I think we get relegated. I think he's that big. I think he's that big a player for us.
What about Niakate and Bolly as the two central defenders? I think they're solid.
Omobamidele. Has everybody forgotten Omobamidele?
No,
yeah, Omobamidele was
not.
brilliant. He was brilliant.
That's why I started the season with.
But he's no Bolly, is he? At the moment.
No, Bolly is fantastic.
Right now.
Bolly is fantastic.
Bolly is.
The thing is, players are getting older. Like, Chris Wood's had a good season. I'm a bit worried about Chris Wood next season. They're just getting a slight bit older. Look what happened to Felipe. He was our best defender last season. This season, he lost his legs.
Well,
they
as
get
long
to
as
an
Anne
age.
doesn't talk about him, they'll be all right, isn't it? As long as Anne doesn't.
As long as Anne doesn't single-handedly retire them, yeah.
Comment.
But no, I mean, Bolly's fantastic. But again, but the thing is, Bolly and Murillo are almost like the perfect pairing because they have different attributes. So if
Bolly's missed a third of the
them,
season. He's missed almost a third of the season.
Again, if Bolly had been in all season, we would have been higher up.
But so just let me go rounds because I went and grabbed a drink. So, and you're saying sell Murillo, was it?
Unfortunately, I don't want to, but
yeah, I know. No one wants to sell any of these players. We're in agreement on that. Who did you say, Crypto? Morgan Gibbs-White.
Yeah, like I said, don't want to, but I think I'd have to.
What are you saying?
Can I caveat that by saying if Murillo wants to stay, then I would never sell him. It's just that I think he'll want to go anyway.
You think he wants to go?
Agenda.
Right.
Okay. Who was your agenda against us?
Mine's MG Dub, and I gave my reasons for it. I think it makes us one-dimensional. I think we can play a different way with it.
See, I don't know on this one. This is like trying to ask someone what kid to get rid of. It's like the only
Worrell in it as well. Can we make it four and have Worrell as well?
Well, he's going to be Jimmy's problem, isn't he? Look, for me, if you get rid of Morgan Gibbs-White, the problem is you have to then reshape the whole team. Because as I think a couple in the chat said, the team has been built. Cooper built the team around Morgan Gibbs-White, and then Nuno came in, and obviously he's connected to him. I don't necessarily think that's not doable. I think you could, if you get rid of Morgan Gibbs-White, I think you go to a 4-3-3. I think that's the natural move, because I almost feel you have to play a 4-2-3-1 because of Morgan Gibbs-White in a positive sense. In a positive sense.
But I feel like our midfield. I feel like our midfield backups, Danilo, Sangare, etc., are maybe stronger than our defensive backups in terms of like Niakate. I think we have more options.
No, exactly. It's not me.
We've got more options in our midfield than our defense.
Yeah, but I don't know who I'd go with.
Not in attacking
it's such a tough one. I mean, they're both fantastic.
Yeah,
you know what?
It's impossible.
They should have won Joint Player of the Season, but it doesn't work like that.
Can we agree? You can only sell one. Can we agree? If we sell all three, we're in big trouble here.
We only need to sell one. If it's PSR, it's only one needs to go.
Yeah,
for definite.
Wolfie, just look up and see how many viewers we've got right now.
666. We got the devil's number in here. Make sure you hit that like button. Let me just catch up.
Can we look at it a different way? Then? Who would we make most profit out of then?
Just before we answer that, let me catch up on the super chat.
Would it?
No.
Let me catch up on the super chat. So, Marky Boy, you're the 21 months. We always have a shite pre-season. we're gonna do a post-mortem stream next Sunday. Breaking news to these lot. I think we're gonna get Carl on as well. Twitter Carl is gonna be good fun. We've been wanting to get Carl on for ages, so it's gonna be a good stream. Rob wants to cash out some receipts on a lot of hate he's had over the year. So
it's going to be a long stream.
Sunday's going to be a long stream, but it's going to be a chilled out stream with a lot of laughs. So make sure you've got that in the diary. Pete with the 21 months, thank you so much. And Noah, I've been worried about you, man. I thought you were in jail or something. Good to see you back, buddy. With the 199. Sunday, I was passed out outside Turf Moor, alcohol. I knew he'd be in some kind of trouble.
After the match, Noah.
And we've met him. He doesn't seem the type, does he? He does not seem the type to be lying around. He just doesn't.
Are these all big man stories that you'd tell at school on a Monday morning when you came in when you were just really playing Xbox all weekend? Shout out to Noah, what a legend. Okay, a few of you in the chat are saying get rid of Sangare. Get rid of Sangare. Yeah. You can't get rid of Sangare, okay? Not because I think he's our potentially going to be one of our best players, because it would be a negative loss on PSR. Like, you guys are going to have to start getting your accountancy degrees out because of what we paid for him. And it's across a few years. If we were to sell him this summer, he would cost us money. He would be negative unless we sold him for like 60 million or something like that. Okay, so you gotta get it in your mind that is very unlikely. He may go. Forest may want to take the loss on him. I'm not saying it's not impossible, but it would absolutely put us in a whole heap.
Can we keep all these receipts? Can we keep all these receipts?
Don't worry.
Next season, we can fucking come back to it.
Don't worry. Don't worry. The receipts are all there. They forget that once they've written it, it's stamped into history. Someone sent me a clip of an old stream from 2 years ago.
Oh, Gordon, you made me regret
someone sent me a clip from 2 years ago, and you can still see the live chat on there. And I saw a few names in there. I was like, you really thought that, did you, matey? Right? So yeah, we got
positive receipts as well. So Jonathan, you're in a good side, in a good box.
Jonathan always talks sense though. That's why he's called Jonathan Talks. It should have sense after it, Jonathan. I'd increase your name by another word.
Not essence, but yeah, talk sense.
Okay, just on the point you were making there, and in terms of profitability, I think Callum Hudson-Odoi or Murillo become the most profitable. Because Morgan Gibbs-White, let's pretend he's 40 million, even though he's not. He's about, 32, 33 at the moment that we've paid on him. The talk is 70 million. So you're looking at just over double to 35 million. That's not bad, actually.
I think 70 million is top end for Gibbs-White.
It's going to be between 60 and 70. So call it 25 to 30 million profit on him. Callum Hudson-Odoi.
It's Murillo.
You say that, but Callum Hudson-Odoi, they're talking about 25 to 35 million, which I think is undervalued for him.
Yeah. In today's ridiculous market.
If we sold just Callum Hudson-Odoi, would that save our PSR?
Oh,
so if we sold the PSR, all we know is what was released on the report, which was that Forest were 12 to 15 million behind, and that was in February. And it could have got worse. It could have got worse.
In theory, if we sold Cho for 30 million, we're pretty confident that. Because now you've got me thinking. Because I would say Cho's very good. He's brilliant. But Murillo and Morgan Gibbs-White are our best players. So do you therefore sell Cho? Because don't forget, Cho is as a very clever person.
Do you need to sell any of them?
Yeah, but he's made a career out of holding R1 shoot. He cuts inside and he shoots.
Somebody earlier on, Crypto, somebody earlier on in the comments, Paul. Nicky said that they're going to work him out now.
Well, that's the thing.
Ian Robin did the same thing for his entire career. Mo Salah does the same thing for his entire career. You can know it's going to happen. Stopping it with these kind of players is a different matter.
I agree. I think he's brilliant. But if I had to choose the best players in the team, I'd say Murillo and Morgan Gibbs-White. So if we can get away without selling them,
the thing is,
because of this,
we don't know, do we? We don't know. We don't know what people are prepared to pay for Callum Hudson-Odoi.
Well, we know that's a good point, Ez. We know that Mangala is up to 22 million incoming if he does go to Leon.
Plus Joe Worrell, 4 million pure profit.
Joe Worrell, After what Ez said about Mangala, he doesn't want a beer anymore, and I don't blame it.
Well, I never said anything bad about Mangala anyway. I didn't say I hate him or anything like that. I just said it was a good deal. It was a good deal for Forest, and it's still a good deal for Forest. He didn't want to be here. He said it himself now. He
didn't want to be here because of you.
Want to be here.
I'm not
He
surprised
didn't
with all the
want to be
negativity he's
here.
getting from certain Forest
And he
fans.
ain't even Muslim, mate. Seriously, like, let it go.
And he didn't want to be here. So it's nothing to do with anything, is it? He didn't want to be here. That's why he is where he is.
Yeah, but if he goes, we're not going to do any more of this math stuff because it's hurting my head. But let's say he goes for 20 million. Okay, he was 13 million over 3 years, I think it was. But we've had 8 million up front on a loan fee.
Yeah,
he nearly clears PSR by himself.
And you're selling homegrown players like Worrell who are bringing 4 or 5
honestly,
million.
guys, I don't think that this thing about Murillo, MGW, Callum Hudson-Odoi, and anybody else, I don't think any of it is PSR related. I think
It could
it's
just be
the
the
players.
profit.
It's the players. It's the players. If the players want to go,
Not just that.
players don't want to go. We don't need to sell them. As is just
If
said,
the
we've got
heads have been
15 million
turned-
probably for Mangala,
I
another
agree,
4
Ant.
million for, and there's other fringe players as well. Even like Turner, you get 2 million for him. You know, it all adds up.
2 million for Turner. 2 million? No way.
Yeah.
No way.
Why? Is
That's
a
enough,
USA
by the way.
international, mate?
Yeah, you know, you'd get more. You'd get when you look at Emerson
Yeah,
Royale.
I'm just saying worst case scenario.
Yeah, I know.
2 million for Vlad.
But we undersell our Deadwood. We really do. Because if you look at Emerson Royale at Spurs, who's absolute crap. Yeah. All Spurs fans will tell you that. They're trying to get 25 mil for him.
Yeah.
And are we saying that? Huh?
We do. We do undersell. You're right.
Yeah. Because why is it okay for Spurs' crappy Deadwood to be classed as 25 mil? Just because they play for a big six Sky Club? Is that what the rules are?
Apparently, yeah.
It's
like when a
stupid.
player gets an international call up, its value doubles. You think, why?
Do you not think though, as well, that if you forget the PSR thing, actual profit for the club, if they sell Murillo for 80 million, forget whether it clears the PSR deadline, that's a lot of money for them to make as a business. So they could be seeing money bags in their eyes.
Do you think
whatever it is, whether it's 60, 70, 80, it could, people are going to see dollar signs.
Listen, I think we need one more team.
One more point, including their agents. If their agents will be pushing for them to move on.
Yeah, for sure.
I guarantee you that. Their agents will be pushing for them to move.
Just a quick reminder, there's nearly 700 of you now in here. Thank you for chilling with us this Monday evening. Make sure you've hit that like button. Subscribe if you're new here. Just a quick check up on the football prizes, signed framed Forest kit and the Insta prize of Murillo. No one's sent me a message saying they've got the Murillo Insta win, but there are only now 50 tickets left for this one. So if you want it, get in quick. There's not long left. The link's pinned in the chat.
Once I said I'd not won it. Everybody thought, "Oh, Ant's not won it."
Well, if I can't win it, we definitely can. So it's in there. If you do win it, please let me know. I may even make a cheeky offer to you because it may be the last time we see. I was just assumed next year he was going to turn into number 4 and we'll carry on with our merry way. So I'm a little worried.
Let me know as well, because I might outbid him.
Can you imagine if he wore Joe Worrell's number? That'd be tragic.
I can see him getting number 4. Number 4 would suit him. Chat, what number would you give Murillo next season? Let us know in the comments. Okay, so that's the main players talked about. We've talked about the managers. Can we just get like some closing statements on how we're feeling? And you guys in the chat play along as well. I want to know how you're feeling now that the season is finally over. Ez, what's your kind of underlying feeling?
Just thank God it's over, man. I used stronger words earlier, but I asked a question towards the end, and we didn't really explore it towards the end of the last stream. Is this a bigger escape than last season? And to me, you know what? After everything we went through this season with the managerial changes, with the PSR, with the VAR, with every R you can think of, we got foobarred at times.
Except the R against our name at the end of the season.
Exactly. The vital R we didn't get. It's been one of the most stressful seasons I can remember because we've come out of it in a positive sense. I can kind of relax, but I'm so glad it's over and I don't want to go through that again. And I'm hoping next season genuinely is the season that we actually build. I'm not going to put any early season predictions onto where we'll finish, but I just want to be comfortable next season. I don't want to be part of that relegation battle. and you can keep saying top 4, but top 4 still a few seasons off, mate. I would be happy.
That was 4th from bottom, Ed.
I was right. I went 4th from bottom. Receipts. But Ez, that's an interesting point, right? Was this season more stressful or last season? Because we finished. How many points clear did we finish last year? Was it about 2 or 3, something like that?
Yeah,
probably, not a lot.
Yeah,
No,
and this season we
were
finished 6 points clear.
Yeah.
So as you look at it, he's still trying to cash his receipts in, man. Seriously, I mean, honestly, at least he clipped himself. I'll give him credit for that. Was this season, chat? What was worse, last season or this season, stress wise? I think it was this season still, man. This season was freaking stressful.
I feel that as well, but is that recency bias? You know what I mean? It's hard to remember how you felt this time.
But I ended up in hospital. I'm pretty sure for me, it's this season. Right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think it's this season, but I don't know why. Because
to prove it, man.
It's the PSR, I think. That PSR factor that's made it worse this season for me. You know, because there was all that time when we didn't know how many we were going to get. Then there was all that time that we were hoping for to get something back on appeal. You know, so
don't forget as well as PSR, VAR. That was the worst bit of it.
Yeah.
The whole ref thing. But I think you lot. It's funny because you guys say it kind of stressed you out. For me, it's more entertaining to have a season like this. Where it's like you don't know.
No, it wasn't, and it wasn't for you either. Don't bullshit.
You know. Yesterday, I was thinking when we went when we went 2-1 up yesterday, I was thinking, I wish this actually meant something. Like if they score another goal, we're going to get relegated. If we hold on, we're going to stay up. It's entertainment. Football is an entertainment sport.
Entertainment is enjoying something.
If we were a mid-level team like West Ham, Palace.
I love it.
We'd be sat here every stream going, same old. Lost.
He is right. He is right.
It's much more entertaining to have that bit of unknowing what's going to happen.
But not every year. Not every year.
Not every year. Not every year. But once in a while.
But are you saying you would have kind of, knowing what we know now, would you have liked Luton to have been within reach yesterday and we had to win? Just for I
wanted it to go down to the 91st minute wonder strike by Murillo.
That's basically what you're saying.
Wonder strike by Murillo to keep it.
You would have been through 2 bottles of Just for Men just this morning if that's what you would.
Ant is right. If it had gone down to the last game this year, I'd have been watching it from freaking ICU, man. Seriously, it's like it is stressful, and I've been relaxed this last week. But at the same time, as stupid as it sounds, I kind of agree with Crypto, man. It makes it's like it's not Forest if it's not stressful.
Good for entertainment. It's good for the channel, but it's not good for our.
But football is an entertainment sport. Okay, every other year.
Far more excited if we were challenging for top 6.
Yeah,
it could be the other way around. It could be the not knowing whether you're going to get European. That would be good as well.
That sounds more like
that's not something I've experienced yet. So. At the moment, relegation battles are pretty fun for me.
Yeah, I don't know. It's an interesting one. It's an interesting one, and it wouldn't be Forest without stress.
If we were mid-season every year, like Palace fans, they're fed up. They want some excitement.
What do they aim for? They know they can't get top 6. They're not going to get relegated. They're just.
To be fair, at one point, it didn't look like they were going to finish in where they did. They've had an amazing run of last half a dozen games.
Yeah, but you've seen Rich in the WhatsApp group. He's celebrating like they've won a trophy. They didn't finish 12th.
Have you seen how they've been playing? It's not just
but you could give a different example. I mean, Brentford. Then what are Brentford going to do?
Get relegated next year.
Yeah. Brentford are in danger next season because, I don't know. I think they need a managerial change actually. But Glasner's done wonders for Palace, and the way they're playing, Mateta, bloody hell, who is he? That's not the same player we saw in the first half of the season.
No, it's amazing.
He's turned into a world beater, mate.
But what are Palace going to do when they lose Eze and Elise? They are big misses.
Yes.
They are big misses.
Let me put you all on the spot, and I'm going to put the chat on the spot. With hindsight, remember Glasner was the first one through the door at Forest. would you, if you could go back and had a time machine, would you swap Nuno for Glasner? Let's really put you lot on the spot. And
Yeah. Yeah.
you would.
Yeah. Why wouldn't I? Have you seen what he's done with Palace compared to what Nuno's done with us? I'm not saying Nuno out, but I'm just saying he's made more of an impression to me. Now, that's not to say that if he was a Forest, he'd have had the same success. Okay? Yeah, because you can never do that. Football's not like that. Because a manager has success at one club, it doesn't necessarily mean he's going to have success at another club. But yeah, I would rather have Glasner right now than Nuno. Why would you not?
I'm asking the question, mate. Don't answer the question with a question.
It seems obvious to me.
Look at all these in the chat. They're all trying to whip out receipts saying they all said Glasner, man. Look at Adam as well.
The thing is, we're a bigger club than Palace, so we could have actually got him.
No, we rejected him. We rejected
him, apparently.
Yeah, because he wanted more say in the transfers, if I remember rightly. Than that. You lot in the chat, man. Seriously. You recency by go on then, Ez, what you saying? Would you take
in hindsight? You're asking the question in hindsight, and obviously in hindsight, looking at what he's achieved, and like I say, the way they're playing football as well, they are playing some scintillating football.
They screwed over Villa, man. They
smashed Villa. Villa weren't even at the race.
Yeah, but we smashed Villa as well.
Villa team with a very strong home record, who did finish in the top 4 positions, so they made them look very ordinary. And like I say, their key thing for next season, obviously, is to hold on to Elise and Eze and keep them fit as well. Because when they weren't in the team, when they weren't both fit, they weren't getting the results. So everything fell into place. Now, for Nuno, a lot of things didn't fall into place. Like we talked about AFCON injuries and VAR and PSR and all that. That didn't go in his favour. Would it have gone in Glasner's favour? Maybe not. We don't know. But yeah, looking at just purely on results and the way the football's played, I would have gone with Glasner, 100%.
You're all hypocrites. But about you, Crypto.
The thing is, the problem with having a manager like that is if he continues the way he is, they're not going to have him for long, are they?
No, not going to have him for long, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, hypotheticals, I'd probably take him as well. But,
oh my God, after you were cheerleading Nuno on Twitter.
Shout out Nuno, but I like that attacking football style. Like I say, football for me is like I love Forest, but it's an entertainment sport, and I don't know if sometimes our football is very entertaining. I don't like defensive type plays, and Nuno is well known. Not as far as Cooper went, but Nuno is a defensive manager.
That's not what we saw. That's not what we saw.
Yeah, but it's not what we saw at the start. If you gave me the Nuno from the first few games, that for me was brilliant. It was exciting, attacking football, score a goal, go and score another one, go and score another one. But something changed. I don't know what it was, but something changed after that first few games. And it just went into this almost like scared approach of we don't want to lose. And I think that's exactly what Cooper did. I want to see attacking, free-flowing football, try and score as many goals as you can. I mean, when was the last time we put 5 or 6 past someone?
But we definitely, first half of the season,
we're in the Premier League, Crypto.
I know, but other teams do it. Other teams
just did it against Villa.
Trap teams.
Against Villa. Against Villa, mate.
Yeah, but this is the thing, Anne. On paper, we don't have a crap team. We have an amazing team. We have an amazing bunch of players.
Season when we played such good football, we could and should have scored 4 or 5.
Yeah, we should have done better this season. There's no doubt about it. But at least he kept us up. And at the end of the day, he kept us up by 6 points plus 4 that we had taken away from us. So a 10-point swing is not that bad.
One more thing I'll say in Nuno's defense, and I think a lot of people will agree, especially non-Forest fans. The first half of the season under Cooper and most of last season, we were one of the worst teams to watch.
For a
neutral, we were one of the worst.
I was embarrassed, mate.
It was embarrassing. It was embarrassing for us as fans watching it. Imagine what it's like for others looking in on it. But during Nuno's reign so far, I've got to say, most of the game, we've been competitive in most games. There's very few games where we've been totally out of. We haven't been hammered in any games.
No.
And I think you got to give him credit for that because he got us playing, he got us competitive, got us scoring goals. At one point, we were topping the charts for breakaway goals, for counter-attacking goals in the league. So, and that was after Nuno came in. So he did a lot of good things, and I think.
But as having said that, 27% possession away to Burnley is unacceptable.
No,
unacceptable.
In general, it's been terrible.
Can I ask a question though? Because I'm just interested to know the answer. If we're sat here next season and we've just avoided relegation, and Nuno's still with us, what do you think then?
Ask me then.
Yeah, and there's got to be context to it. You'd have to have some context to it, obviously.
Exactly. If we've lost all our players,
if the entire squad had broken legs for the entire season, that's context.
If Morgan, Murillo, Callum Hudson-Odoi all get sold off, then we are in trouble.
Okay. Hypothetically speaking, we have the same squad next season.
Get rid.
And there's no improvement, then get rid.
I've got no personal attachment to Nuno. So if he's not, look, for me next season, I mean, we'll do an expectation stream as well. There's a lot of streams coming up, but Forest can't be in a relegation battle next season, subject to transfer window, subject to pre-seasons, not in a freaking Thornbush Park, man. We better be going to America. I'm going to find out. Yeah. And if we're not, I'm kicking off.
With a white van outside of a pitch now.
Freaking white van, man. Look at that goddamn drug dealers were working out the back of that one, man. Seriously. It's just, honestly, it's just embarrassing.
Doggy what sponsors? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Oh, man, honestly.
Doggy daycare. I mean, we're playing at a ground where it's sponsored by Doggy fucking Daycare. Come on.
And we almost lost the game as well.
We lost to Leeds. And that last pre-season was one of the worst pre-seasons I've ever seen, man. And we've never been great pre-season, let's be honest. But that one was just terrific.
Do you remember we were saying, when we played PSV, Sangare will definitely not come now.
I know, man. What was he thinking, man? We were terrible then, my God. But no, Forest need to be playing Premier League teams. We need to be going. I mean, Spurs and Newcastle already buggered off to Australia, which I don't agree with, by the way.
You know, Barcelona, Real Madrid, they're acceptable. Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund, Bayer Leverkusen, they're acceptable. Juventus, AC Milan, these are all acceptable. Fucking Burton, isn't it?
Exactly. I don't mind doing the Notts County game with maybe, towards the end and you put the under 18s in or what have you.
Not charge 25 quid or whatever it fucking was
for
it.
Exactly. But the rest, it needs to be a pre-season tour. We got to start getting serious. If we're going to be a Premier League club, it's going to get serious. And I don't want to hear, and I will credit, if we have another bad pre-season, every pre-season we've criticized since we've been in the Premier League, it has flowed into the Premier League. We've had crap seasons.
Yes. Can you imagine if you're a player we're trying to attract to our club and he's in negotiations and say, where's your pre-season tour? Yeah, well, it's Burton, Sheffield United, Notts County,
Barnsley.
I thought you were Premier League club.
I
misunderstood this or something. You're non-league, yeah? That's right.
Yeah, and we won't play them at the City Ground because we've got to protect our grass, all that kind of stuff. So, oh God. Anyway, on that note, we'll be back tomorrow with some daily news. We've also got a stream coming up on Sunday. Hopefully, Carlos's agent won't charge us too much, and we'll get Carl on. It's going to be a cracking stream as well. But that stream is going to have a lot of receipts. So make sure you've hit the like button if you haven't already. Subscribe to Forest Fan TV if you're new. There's only 29 tickets now left for the Murillo signed shirt. Make sure you grab those before they're all gone. Someone surely by now has got it. Send me a WhatsApp if you have. We'll see you on tomorrow's video. Come on, oh wait, Crypto, you wanted to talk about a Discord thing?
Yeah, just very, very briefly.
Whoa, hold your fire. Don't press the X button yet, guys. Hold on. Hold the phone.
Just very, very briefly. One of our viewers, Nathan, has made a Discord and also a FIFA Pro Clubs team for anybody who's interested in Forest, etc. We'll try to get involved with it as much as possible, but obviously we have work commitments, etc. But for the time being, it will be a fan-owned channel, as in a fan of FFTV. So fan-owned channel by Nathan. He has put the FFTV name on there because he wants people from this channel and this community to join. So if you want to join Nathan's group, then have a look on that Discord, and I think there's invites and details on how to join his pro clubs team.
And he's also created every player as a Forest player, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think he's created all the Forest legends. So anybody who's interested in playing pro clubs with other Forest fans, check that out and yeah, enjoy. Unless you're Owen, then maybe.
Owen, you killed it, man.
Yeah, so Nathan, shout out to you. Owen, you're right, man. I've probably lost about 400 quid in Xbox controllers, smashing them against the wall, man. It's so satisfying to do, but the moment you do it, you're like, oh, for God's sake. Anyway, on that note, shout out to everyone in the chat. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you on tomorrow's video. You Reds.
You Reds.